Hey Saber fans, Tony here from Run Sabers, and today we've got another video for you. This one's going to be different. This one I'm going to teach you how to do Shi-Cho, which is the first movement of a lightsaber form. There are 7 forms. I'm going to go through the first one. I learned this routine a long time ago. I thought I'd share it with you guys. Please like and comment if you like these videos. If you want second parts or different videos for all the rest of the forms, please let me know. Of course, I'm going to be using my Neopixel lightsabers I have built. This one's going to be episode 1 Obi Wan that I used. When I do the full routine, it's going to be my personal Neopixel lightsaber, so please check out the videos below or check out my channel if you're interested in those. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first you want to face the way that, the idea is that you're in a hallway, so you face forward and you have your lightsaber to your side. Now you're going to want to flick it up using an orbital, and so flick up and chamber. And so chamber is when you have it in both grips, either to the side or to your straight. We want it straight on parallel with your face. And so in honor and for respect, you bow to begin this and then you start. Now the first movement is with a left foot going forward and a stab forward. Now that's the first movement. Then from there, you want to parry over your left shoulder, getting your right foot forward and slice down. So I'll redo that first 3 steps now. And so, chamber, stab, left foot going forward, left going over left shoulder and right foot. Now from there, you want to just do the same thing again and do right shoulder, left foot. And so it's the same thing going backwards. Now from here, since you're in this position here, you want to chamber and then go down. And just, it's more of a vertical movement, it's not much of a slice, it's more of a cross horizontally. You want to do the same thing going over. And this time your whole body wants to shift. Instead of you staying forward with your shoulders moving, you want both movements to be horizontal. Once you're done with that, you go into orbitals, which are just this up, chamber, this up, chamber. And then it gets kind of tricky because then you have to kind of gallop going into the stab. And so we'll show that real quick. Let's redo it from the beginning real quick. So chamber, bow, stab, left foot forward. Strike over the shoulder, right foot forward. Opposite, left foot forward. Chamber, horizontal, up, horizontal, up, orbital, orbital, and then that's where we left off. Now from here you want to do like a gallop. So you gallop, come up, and slice. Once you slice, you do your right foot forward and stab. Now that ends the first half of it. And so there's a second half we'll get into, but first, if you want to, pause the video or whatever, and just go through the first segment. We'll go through it one more time for you guys. So, chamber, left foot stab, over the shoulder, right foot. Opposite, chamber, horizontal. Right foot goes forward. Opposite, left foot goes forward. Chamber, orbital, orbital, gallop, strike. And then stab, right foot. Alright. Now second movement is, after you stab, you want to go over your head and slice. Now this is the trickiest part because when you do this, your left foot's back, right foot forward. Now when you stab, you want to pivot. And you want your saber to go over your head and slice down over your left foot. Now when you do the pivot, your left flank should bend, and when you come back up to chamber, you're following with your right foot. So basically your left foot should match your right foot, and that's your back to chamber. So we'll go through that one more time because it's a bit tricky. So stab, right foot forward, pivot, and come forward. It should be one fluid motion. Now this kind of ends the first part. This is kind of the official part that ends it. This is going into the second part. Now the second part starts just like the first one in a sense. You still have to stab, and so you stab forward, bam. But the idea here is that you're checking for enemies in the after making your first hallway pass, you're checking to make sure no enemies are behind you. And so when you stab, you check your right doorway, your left doorway, and then you chamber again. And so I'll go that really slow. So you want to go down and chamber up to your right. So then, let's go back to the beginning. So you want to stab, pivot, chamber, stab, check, check, chamber. And the idea here is to knock your opponent's blade away and then strike. That's with your right foot forward. So what you'll do here is knock the blade away. So it's basically like a feint. So fake and slice. That's going 45-degree angles down to your left blade. And from there, this is kind of the weirdest part, you have to stab, but both feet are completely flat, which is very awkward and very weird, but it sets up the whole next motion. And so it's called a fish hook. So what you do is, like, you're attached So the idea is that if this is a fishing rod, you got your foot attached. So when you pull it, you pull your leg forward. And so you'll pull your foot up and then strike. And then basically what you're doing here is wrong footing, and you correct it later. But so you attack straight down with your right leg forward, which means technically wrong in saber sense. But the idea after that is to correct it. So now you're on the right side, your left side, your blade's on the left side while your right foot's forward, and this is what finishes off the style. So now that that's done, you've corrected yourself, you do a straight 5 or horizontal attack, and you go over the head for like a temple tap. After that, this is the flourish. So this is a harder part, but you'll go through it. So it'll be here, here, bam. And then you chamber like you did before, and that ends the second part. So you should end how you begin. If your footing is right, you should end in the same spot that you've begun. So let's go through that second part one more time. So stab, right foot, pivot, chamber. Hallway stab, check, check, chamber. Knock the blade away, strike, awkward stab. Fish hook, down, wrong foot, correction, horizontal, over the head tap, temple tap, and then the flourish, and then chamber. That concludes the second part. Now I'll go through kind of the chamber aspect of it. So here, when you do your last up top, right? So after you do your last out of the 3, so correction, horizontal, over the head, your last flourish is this, so watch very carefully. You want to dip down with your right on your left side, come over your right side, and when you do this, you want to do 1 orbital, come back around, and down. It's very tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it's very easy. If you have the form correct, then it should be easier to do this flourish. So, you're up here, down, around, down, and of course chamber. And so, what helps is to make sure you have your orbitals correctly. If you can do this movement, that's your first step, and then you're carrying it into this part. So it's behind the back, down. So orbital, behind the back, down. So let's put it all together again. Step, pivot, chamber. Hallway, check, check, chamber. Knock the blade away, strike. Pointless move. Fish hook, bam. Wrong foot, bam. Correction, bam. Now the correction, you want to have a gallop, so you kind of stay in the same place. Now, horizontal, temple, flourish. So let's put the whole thing together and see if you guys can follow along. Feel free to pause and skip to whatever if you need to redo a section or whatever. I'm trying to make it as thorough as possible. I'm not a terribly good teacher, but we'll see. So, chamber and bow. Stab, left foot forward. Strike, right foot forward. Opposite, left foot forward. Up, chamber, horizontal strike, left. Horizontal strike to the right. Now, orbitals, 1, 2, gallop, strike, hit, right foot forward. Stab, right foot forward. Now, pivot. Chamber. Checker hallway. Check. Check. Chamber. Knock the blade away. Strike. Pointless move. Fish hook. Wrong foot. Correction. Horizontal. Over the head. Flourish. Finish chamber and bow. Now that concludes the movements. If you have any questions, please ask. I'll be glad to help you. So now that we've done the movements and stuff, we're going to show you what it looks like at night with Neopixel. Alright, Saber fans, that concludes our Saber Shi-Cho video. If you like this, please like and comment. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to respond to them. And of course, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and may the Force be with you.